Hello and welcome to the show. Now, I am not one to massively fanboy over every single Japanese car that makes its way into Forza games. However, when I saw the R31 Skyline in Horizon 3, I was quite interested in this car. It actually looked really rather cool to me. Reminded me very much of the Group 5, the DRM race cars. And with a little bit more research and a little bit more information, turns out that would be because it was one. They did actually have, I think the R31 was a homologation special. There certainly was a homologation special of these to allow the Skylines to go racing in the crazy categories. So yeah, that's kind of why I quite like the look of these vehicles. And you guys wanted to see me turn it into a rally car, so that is what I am going to do. Sadly, I'll try and find a picture to put on the screen about now of the actual DRM race car, the Group 5 race car. It was bonkers. I wish we had that kit. There is a wide body kit for it. Sadly, it is not the not the DRM kit. I would love to have that. What it is some slight, well, wheel arch extensions, but what it does mean, while it doesn't do a huge amount in terms of bodywork, it does, I believe, give us a lot more in the way of options for tyre widths. That is going to be very, very useful when it comes to making a rear-wheel drive rally car. Engines we might come back to. I'd imagine the standard engine will be more than enough power in that to get it up to the 850 that we need. As far as upgrades goes, there is a sort of Nissan-ish lip on the car, or the Forza Aero. We're going for the Forza Aero because I want the downforce. Again, we're going to be wanting this if we want to be getting grip around the circuit. We also have the option to put on some window trims, sure. Apparently, that reduces drag by 2%. It increases our PI. It doesn't hurt anyway. Bugger it, it'll do. I think without the wide body kit on, you do get the option to have mud flaps on the car. It's not a huge amount in the way of body kit parts for it, but that's not the most important thing, really, when it comes to this. Our rally tyres are going to jump the PI up from C-Class all the way up to A-Class. They make such a huge difference. I'm hoping. Come on. Big rear tyres. 315s at the back. That is what we like to see, and that might give the Mazda, the RX-8, some concerns, and 275s at the front. They are nice, big front tyres as well to get the car turned in. Big tyres at the back to give us traction. It's looking like we might be pretty good. We might be able to challenge the RX-8. The RX-8 has actually made a surprisingly, I say successful. I'm not surprised that it's successful. I'm surprised that it's so much faster than the other rear-wheel drive cars that have gone so far. Now, how much power are we going to be able to get into our Skyline? We have been seeing cars of up towards 700 horsepower with the Volvo. Now, we're not going to see as much power in this, I don't think. We've got far bigger tyres on the Skyline, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to be honest. I'm okay with with not quite having 700 horsepower. Do we go full-on turbo, or do we go a little bit less full-on turbo? Did I put the exhaust on? I tend to go with exhaust as the first thing that I do. Yes, I did. Because exhaust saves a fair bit of weight on cars, as well as adding power. Now, I'm trying to figure out whether I go full turbo and put no weight reduction, or whether we go fair bit of turbo and then a little bit of weight reduction as well. Try to balance everything out. As I said before, sometimes these cars being a little bit heavier will help them with traction. Oopsie, that's not what we wanted. But, you know, still, the more weight there is in the car, the more weight you've got to try and lug around a corner. So it'll help you with traction, but you'll lose time elsewhere in terms of balancing out all of the PI. Because we're not going to go for full-on weight reduction. We could go for... I'd kind of... do we... Ooh, this is a tough choice. In fact, actually, by putting the weight reduction down, the weight distribution is a little bit more towards the rear by a percentage point. But, yeah, you know, I think we will. I think we will go with it on this car. Because we're going to... I'm hoping we're going to be making up time through the corners. That's where the time is going to be gained with this. We haven't got the power... perhaps over the likes of the RX-8, but what I'm hoping we can do is make up time through the corners, whether that be with traction out of the corners or just simply carrying more speed through them. We will then also go and have a look at getting the last bit of PI in the car. We'll go for a differential, of course. We can't get any drive lines on. We can't get any gearboxes in either. I'm doubting we'll get a clutch in. No, we will not. Okay. Well, it is not a massively powerful car. In fact, one of the least powerful cars we have had go in this series at 386 horsepower. However, massive, massive tyres. And hopefully that'll be enough to maintain plenty of corner speed. So it is off to the mountain peak scramble with our Skyline. I'm going to get 5 laps around this circuit in an attempt to go as fast as possible. Now, its main rival is going to be the Mazda RX-8. It has a lap time 1:29.3. The Mazda is 1.3 seconds faster than anything else that is two-wheel drive. Yes, it is 3 seconds down on the all-wheel drive cars. However, it is far superior to any of the front-wheel drive or other rear-wheel drive cars that have gone. So, can our Skyline challenge that? Could it even go faster than the RX-8? Could it set a new benchmark for the two-wheel drive cars to try and aim for? I don't know. I'm thinking this might actually half stand a chance. Ooh, brakes are good. Brakes are very good on this. I can be very, very late on them into these corners as we go around. Yeah, we are definitely going to slide there. There is, unsurprising really, with a rear-wheel drive car, it is going to want to have the back end step out on you. Can we be flat out through McRae? That is the question. I think we can. Yes, indeed we can. A little bit of bottom wiggling going on from the Nissan, but we will be flat out through that section, which is not bad going for a rear-wheel drive car. The off-piste twist is not too bad either. We're not bumping the front on the floor. I did worry about the splitter slightly, although these cars, when you put them on the rally suspension, also the kind of wide body kit for this car does seem to raise the ride height up a little bit, which is peculiar. However, yeah, while it has got like a splitter at the front that you might potentially think would catch on the floor, it's thankfully riding high enough that that isn't a problem. We're actually very, very good into Diabolic. I'm impressed with this car so far. I think we're going to have a similar story in some respect to the Bentley that went out last time, with just a sheer lack of power. While we're a hell of a lot lighter than the Bentley, for example, this is a little bit down on power and similar weight to the likes of the RX-8. However, we're going to have to try and make up. Okay, that was a little bit too brave into turn 1. I was impressed with the brakes, but even this can't get away with quite being that silly into the first quarter. I shall bear that in mind. Yeah, the power is okay at best, so we may struggle a little bit with straight line speed, but we've got to find other places to make up that lap time, and it does seem to be doing pretty damn well. Alright, through McRae we go. Flat out. Or not, well, I mean, it will be flat out through there. I just got a little bit too much sideways, and then that was a bit, we're struggling on the, I lost all of my momentum on the way up there. That's not particularly what you want to be doing. You can get away with it in an all-wheel drive car, but in a vehicle like this, if you've lost that momentum, it's very, very difficult to get going once more. Don't end up in the Polestar Rock on the outside. We have got away, still got away without actually hitting that. We've got very, very close with the Volvos, but yeah, have managed to get away without clobbering that one across the inside of the ice at the Kimmies, and we are quite nicely around on the exit. Actually, all very, very manageable, this. In a rear-wheel drive car, I'm spending a lot of time on full throttle, and that's not on full throttle and being massively sideways either. That is on full throttle and actually have some traction, have some grip. It is, yeah, going pretty well. I mean, I say this car has massive tyres, as did the Camaro. The Camaro had some very, very big tyres on that, but that still struggled with traction. Admittedly, that did have some 600 horsepower going on, whereas this does not have that to deal with as we round turn 1. Nice and neat on the way through that corner and through the next turn. Little bit of fighting from the back end once more. We've seen it with near enough every car that they are happy to wiggle around on that part. Ooh, maybe clonk the inside a tad too much. I might take a tighter line than I really want to through McRae. Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a lift. We did ever so slightly brush the wall. He's got away with that out actually dirtying the lap, which is an interesting one, but never mind. We shall soldier on here. Not a perfect start to this lap. We can... Oh, God, then there's a big slide down there. That's, I mean, that's one place we are struggling a little bit with traction. We actually haven't had that many cars being massively sideways down that part of the course. I wonder if it's just able to be braver with this car. I feel like I can be a bit more aggressive in terms of throwing the car around, really, down there than I have been with some of the other vehicles, and that's why we're finding some sliding moments. Chuck the car into Diabolica. That's some good speed through that corner from the Skyline. I think if I can get everything together with this, the RX-8 might be in a little bit of bother. I think it might be. This is a mighty fine rear-wheel drive rally car here. Okay, what is it? A 31.1. Now there definitely was a bit of a mistake at McRae. I was expecting that to be a little bit faster. In all honesty, I was expecting that lap time perhaps to be a little bit quicker than that. Maybe there is more time to be found around this lap. Patience is required around turn 2 unless you want to be going very, very sideways and losing all of your time around there. Up past Rolvia, no issues for the Skyline there. No likelihood of the car tipping over. Well, that's now very, very wide through McRae. That's not quite the line either. I don't know if that's better or worse than last time out. Definitely got to get it into second. Trying to keep that momentum through the off-piste twist is so difficult in these rear-wheel drive cars. It's such a horribly steep and nasty section around there. These cars do have a tough time. We're going to get... Oh! Polestar Rock nearly got its first victim. Didn't quite catch the Skyline. I managed to sort it all out in time, but that was very, very close, and still we are quite sideways a lot. Oh, that's a little bit on the ice through the Kimmies. Corrected it and caught that all in time, which is, again, quite surprising. I thought that was gone, much like we saw with the Volvo. When the back wheels catch on that ice, I was expecting this being a rear-wheel drive car. That would just spin immediately and it'd be absolutely nothing you could do. However, I did manage to get away with it just. Are we doing lap time? It's just not quick enough. It's not quick enough in the Skyline. Where are we going to find the lap time? It's actually not bad speed up into turn 1, 116 miles an hour into this first corner. It's not as fast as the Volvo. No, that was doing in the 120-somethings. However, the Volvo had 700 horsepower and weighed nothing. So perhaps not surprising considering the low power, relatively low power in this, relatively low power to weight ratio in our Skyline. It's doing pretty well in terms of straight line speed. It's not struggling there. It feels pretty damn good through the corners. And this time we get McRae. That's a lot more like it through that section. It was indeed flat out this time around. Do have to drop it down into second gear if we want to take any speed over the off-piste twist. Kind of run it towards the rocky edge of the course there. Try not to get the back end out too much, but we do want to keep the throttle down. Accelerate as much as we can up towards this very, very nasty corner. We're not struggling with understeer though in the Skyline, which is nice. The last few cars have had lots of issues getting turned in there. Not the case for our Nissan. We did have to have the tiniest of corrections through the first part of the Kimmies. Once more though, we have got away with it. I'm trying keeping it in third out of there. I'm not sure if that's worked better or worse through that corner. We will find out as we head towards the final turn. Around Satellite we go, up towards the finish line. Come on, Skyline, give it all that you've got towards the line. Oh, that's more like it. That's more like it indeed from the Nissan. We're into the 29s again. The RX-8 can breathe a sigh of relief. However, that's more like it. That's the sort of lap time I was hoping for from the Skyline. We did finally get it all together. Yeah, getting a car turned into McRae's is probably one of the more important corners on the track. Perhaps, you know, the likes of the Kimmies and the off-piste twist are both obviously important for avoiding ice and getting the cross-country, carrying the momentum through the cross-country section, but this turn here is a real bugger. If you don't get set up for that corner right, you are going to be in a lot of trouble, because if you get it right, you can carry quite a lot of speed through it, so if you're getting it wrong, that does suck around a lot of your lap time. Well, I like the Skyline. I really do quite like this car, in fact, around here. For a rear-wheel drive rally car, yeah, this is very, very nice to drive. Surprisingly easy. While it can be a little tail-happy in a couple of places, all things considered, very, very controlled. and its lap time is good indeed. A 1:29.5 will put the car into 7th place. 0.2 of a second. In fact, it is exactly 0.2 of a second down on the Mazda RX-8. We are over a second clear of the rest of the two-wheel drive cars, beating the likes of the Lancia Fulvia, the Camaro Z28, the Abarth 695, and the bonkers Volvo. Yeah, a very, very good showing from the Skyline. Perhaps lacks a little bit of power on the RX-8. That is perhaps the difference. While this has got the grip through the corners, the RX-8 just slightly edges it in terms of power, and over the course of the lap, the RX-8 a little bit quicker. Both of them, though, very, very good rear-wheel drive rally cars. However, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.